Okay, this video is all about getting started. One of the first things you do when you're doing an electric car is you measure the height of the wheel wells, because you're going to be adding a lot of weight in lead acid batteries if you choose to do lead acid. And that will tend to bring the car down a little bit. So you want to know exactly where the car should sit so that if you need to redo the springs or the shocks and struts later, you know exactly where the car should be. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the tear down because that's not really as important to the overall conversion. You know what you're getting rid of. You're getting rid of anything that makes that internal combustion engine work, taking it all out and saving as much weight as possible. What I have done to make things a lot easier, you can see, is I've taken the hood off, and I've already taken a lot of the components out of the car. Okay, I want to show you a little bit of the work I've done already. I've removed pretty much everything involved in the air sensor and the airflow, air filter, all of that. We've taken out the radiator, the fan, most of the air conditioning components, and a little bit of the power steering stuff. I'll come back to that later because I do want to keep power steering. But since the air conditioning wasn't working properly in this car, I decided to go ahead and dispense with that entire issue and just not have air conditioning. We've got windows, we have a sunroof, it should be fine. Give you a little picture of the car as it sits right now. A lot of the items have been removed. You can see the battery tray has all been taken out. This is where all the airflow sensors sat. This is obviously where the radiator and air conditioning condenser sat. There was an accumulator over in this corner. So a good portion of the accessory items have been removed. What I'm going to be doing today is taking out as much more as possible and really getting it prepped for doing the engine removal. Video number 3, or as I like to call it, why people are always late. You see, it's not that people plan on being late. They plan their day, they know what time they have to be places. It's just that no matter what you're doing, it always seems to take longer than you expected. For example, this is day 3 of the teardown and I've yet to get the engine out. That's okay. I'm taking my time. I've actually decided, since I'm not going to sell the engine, that I'm going to dismantle it a little bit at a time. It'll give me at least a little bit of experience on working on engines, and at least I'll be able to say I did it all myself. But that's okay. I've got a lot of other things done. I've got the gas tank this close to being removed. I have the gas hose on the other side removed. I'm really tempted to just go ahead and put the electrical plug in, but I'll hold out. I have already ordered my parts. I got just about everything from KTA Services in California, and that stuff's on the way. So stay tuned. You know, one of the purposes of this whole video series was to show that really anybody could do this. I don't have a lot of mechanical skill. I mean, I can change an alternator, I can do a simple brake job, change the oil, that kind of thing. But as far as actually removing an engine, stuff like that, I've certainly never done. And I have to admit, there have been a couple times where I've just sort of stood here looking at the engine compartment thinking, wow, what have I gotten myself into? But after about 3 days of doing this, and fortunately I'm not on any time schedule here, I can see that really anybody can do this. Now, I wouldn't suggest you tear down an engine and go put it back together for the first time with no experience, because I'm not so sure I could get it back together. But being able to take everything out is fine. And remember, when you actually get to the point of putting in the electrical components, the motor, the controller, the batteries, a lot of that is pretty simple electric DC wiring. It's not really that complicated. Plus, the place that I bought all my components from are sending along schematics, letting me know exactly what needs to be connected where. And of course, I'll have a voltmeter to be able to test things and amps such as that. And I'm definitely going to have someone around just in case, just to make sure it all works fine. So, I think anybody can do this. And I'm looking a lot more positive about this project today than I was yesterday. So I hope you stay tuned for more.